right, good morning, you guys. You made it through quarantine. Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Everyone's light. Every creed and color. Again shall we unite in honor of God and each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. The name of love.
All right. The pride of Tulane University right there, Mr. Jason Goldstein on the keys.
Thank
Nice.
you, guys. Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you, guys. All right, so welcome. My name's Reverend Michael McMorrow. Welcome to you online. Welcome to you in the room. Yes. Of which we are saving seats for you for next week. If you're local, just get that reservation in before Friday afternoon. We'd love to see you here, masked and distanced for now. And we can hardly wait to see you. So, and for those of you who are in outside of the area, welcome as well. We're delighted to have you here. We welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And I'm here joined with our assistant minister, the lovely Reverend Nancy Woods, our music director, Ken Francis, Jason Goldstein. You heard from these guys earlier. So let's just start by taking a deep, conscious breath together and release as we allow ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. That fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it is for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, within our online community, and within our own hearts. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
So it is with the recognition of this oneness, one life, one present, one divine being manifesting as is each and every one of us. And this acknowledgement and awareness that the infinite intelligence is what is coming forth into expression in each and every one of us. To know that that which is bringing forth this experience in this hour that we're spending together, we recognize it as the essence of who and what we are, but we also recognize that it is that which brings forth the newness, the expression that we share in this hour. And as we share this hour, we know that we reach for the newness in the music that is given forth, into the message that is delivered, the greetings that we receive from each other, knowing that this moment is the only and most powerful moment that there is. We embrace the idea that the spiritual presence has given us an opportunity to step into a greater world of knowingness. As we spend this hour together, it unfolds and it manifests in us, through us, and as us. And I recognize it. I embrace it. I understand and appreciate its presence, its words, its thoughts, and its understanding. It is with this awareness and this understanding that we say we are grateful to be here, to know this, and to express this. And together we can acknowledge this as we say with each other. And so it is. I gotta get used to saying the same thing twice. It is a different experience, and it's probably a different experience. And I want to definitely say, I am so grateful, God. I am so grateful to have people before me. It does. Oh, it just adds an energy that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as we spend this time together, what I wanted to share is a sharing of what has gone on this week with me as far as spirit is concerned. I have been adventuring out into reading different things and listening to different things while being at home so much. And so one of the things I have been exploring is the power of now. I'm rereading the book. It's been a long time since I read it, but I'm rereading the book and listening to some of his talks. And what I have found is that when I read this, it just seems like different ones come up saying the same thing. And I remember that I went to a workshop with a Catholic group, and it was silent retreat. And they were talking about this concept of meditation. She said, "Oh, those thoughts just keep going by your head. Just look at them and just stay silent within yourself." And then I heard I read something else where someone said, when the thoughts come by, you just take them and put them in a boat and let them go on down the river. So I heard those things before, but all of a sudden, I got this different experience by reading this book of understanding about this noise in my head. And so, I think I can compare it to, I don't know, anybody been in 12 Steps program before, but in 12 Steps, they tell about your parts of you that is, what is it? Your weaknesses or character defects, that's what they call it. And you know what? And I can remember when he said that, and I was writing them down. I remember that it seemed like they all bloomed and got so big. Well, this noticing about this noise in my head got real big this week. It got so big, I was really telling it, shut up. I don't want this noise in my head. And it seems like it was really running like a tape, just. And I understand that now more than ever, when they said 60,000 thoughts go through your head, man, a lot of thoughts go through your head. And all of a sudden, this has brought me back to this understanding and looking at these thoughts, and I'm saying, oh, God, shut up. And there were a couple of times, and one time it woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and all these thoughts was going through my head. And one of the things that I found that I had this new thing that I stepped into, I don't know, by accident. I would start saying, oh, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, trying to put something there other than these things that are tripping me out. And one of the things, and so it went on, and I don't know, and then Wednesday night, Reverend Mike was reading this thing from Joe Goldsmith, and he probably wasn't focusing on that point, but the point is, I heard what he was saying. I really heard it. And when I heard what he's saying, I said, oh, I like this. And then I would start kind of feeling it. So I kind of felt what he was saying. And I heard what they said, that this noise in here is not who I am. I am consciousness. That noise is part of the ego influence and all that. And that's where it's from. And so I recognized it, and it seems like I got up the next morning and I could look at it. And looking at it may seem strange, but I was actually feeling like I was looking at the thoughts that were going through my head. And all of a sudden, they didn't have no way the power and the frustration that they had before that. All of a sudden, I really gained the awareness that, I am not these thoughts. And then, it seemed like as soon as I start thinking I'm not the thoughts, the little things, how you get the story, the thought comes, and then you do this, and you do this, and you tell that person that, and you should have said this, and all that I could stop. I could not do that. I could just look at the thought and say, okay, it was a thought, and I don't have to get upset about it. I remember who and what I am. So I don't know if it was the Holy Spirit or what he said or the message that he gave me on Wednesday night during the meditation, but I know somehow something clicked. And I realized that all of a sudden I felt a greater freedom from my own thoughts in my head. And I highly recommend that you visit Wednesday night, and also highly recommend that you visit the idea of the power of now. But I want to thank you because today I feel freer. And thank you for letting me share that with you.
You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my ignorance, till all my fears have gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I'm a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I'm a child of God. From our mother's womb, we are born into this world you gave to us, a treasure to be found if we go within. Your life flows through my veins. Child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I'm a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. We are the sons and daughters. Let us sing our freedom. Let us sing our song. Child of God. I'm a child of God. Thank you.
I'm going to try not to cry, guys.
First of all, that was so beautiful. It's the first time I've been up here in almost 2 years. And I'm just so happy to be here. Just so happy. Welcome, everybody, here and out there. Okay, I have some announcements here. So any day, if you would like prayer support, please take advantage of our practitioner. Oh, shoot. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. Totally forgot. You know what? It's like part of my face now. Anyways, if you would like prayer support for yourself, please take advantage of our practitioners. And you can find any of us online at cslgh.org. Today, we have Zoom fellowship right after the service at 11:45, and it will be facilitated by Sherry Gideons, one of our practitioners. We also have Law of Attraction online today at 1 o'clock, our sweet Michael Carlin. And our healing support today is online at 1 o'clock. I think that's Reverend Jessica? Yes. Coming soon, Animal Kinship will be coming back online Sunday, July 18th at 1 o'clock. Our precious Reverend Kathy runs that one. And then we have Prosperity Potpourri Tuesday, July 20th at 6:30 p.m. And this is a new class with our wonderful Dr. Reverend Maureen Hoyt. It is actually going to be in person and online, so you could do either one. And then Fall Fling, oh my God, it's been so long, but we are going to partay on Saturday, October 2nd. So put it in your calendar, because it has been a long time since we've been together partying. So now I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce Mr. Scott Fishburne, who's going to talk about something very special coming up.
Thank you much. Well, so this is my first time on stage ever. So this is very exciting. Thank you. So we are bringing the choir back under my direction, and Assistant Director Kathy Theodore is going to be helping me out. And we want you, everybody is welcome to join the choir. We have confirmed the date and time to be Thursdays at 6:30 right here for in-person rehearsals. So if you are interested, if you haven't already been contacted by me or reached out to me, maybe you could email Reverend Mike or the church. Yes, and at this point, this is for vaccinated persons only for the in-person rehearsals and any performances at this time until further notice. So, but you are welcome to join us, whether you have previous experience in the choir, doesn't matter, you're welcome to join us. So reach out to the church, they will contact me and I will contact you. Otherwise, we'll see you here at 6:30 on Thursday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott and Kitty. Now, I would like you to stand and do the Declaration of Principles with me. We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life, the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the giveness of life to all.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
Good that you let that sit. So let's give Ken some love and Jason as well. Nicely done this morning. So if you're just tuning in online there, my name's Reverend Mike McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living. We're in Granada Hills, California, which is in North San Fernando Valley. And you are most welcome to join us online. And if you're local here, you're also welcome to join us here in the room through reservation for now. But, you know, this is a fluid situation, so we'll see how it all unfolds. And it is nice to see some faces in here and that are not on Zoom. So it's great to have you guys here with us today. And I'll try not to drool on myself here. I need to get me one of those flamboyant little Richard handkerchiefs. All right, so today's talk title is Your Commitment. Is your commitment greater than your resistance? Is your commitment greater than your resistance? So Reverend Nancy spoke to that nicely in our creative thought. We're going to explore it a little differently, or a little deeper, I should say. And I'm just going to talk about my own experience with that in this way. So our monthly theme, of course, is pulled by vision. Pulled by vision. And so this presumes, of course, that we have a vision. But the global vision, which is what they are referring to, the global vision for Centers for Spiritual Living is about a dozen different items this week. The minister who prepared these notes, Reverend Rafe, his last name escapes me now, up in Grass Valley, he picked these to work with, that we envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. That's the global vision. Now, to me, when I read that sounds like an agenda. And an agenda, a vision is not an agenda. It doesn't mean that I don't agree with many of the things that are stated there. But a vision is that thing behind the thoughts that Reverend Nancy was speaking to. Now, this came out of visioning sessions with this particular committee. So it didn't just drop out of nowhere. But the whole idea of visioning, and the reason why we continually speak to meditation and contemplative exercises, including journaling and so forth, is to experience that there is a possibility of divine revelation within the visioning process. And divine revelation is beyond agenda, beyond opinion, beyond ego. So I don't want to bum everybody out, but not every thought you have is a divine revelation. I'm just saying. Right? And this is why Holmes also spoke to a trained mind is more powerful than an untrained mind. And the Buddhists, of course, as well. And I should say, really, Indian philosophers, because Hinduism was around long before Buddhism. And so these spiritual athletes, really, right? These spiritual athletes sat, right? So how can sitting be athletic? Well, you try it and you will see, right? Because as Mr. Gwenka would say in his teaching, the mind is a very, very busy place. So we envision the world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience. So I had my stuff around that, and then the next part of that vision is we envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. Now we start living from that place as a global community. We're going to get somewhere. Right? We're going to get somewhere. So there is a huge presumption going on with this theme, and maybe you guys noticed it before I did, and that is that do you have a vision for your life at all? And again, a vision is not an agenda, it's not a to-do list, right? It's something deep within us. It's a soul calling, really, right? So I don't know if you have that, if you've experienced that. But we have been speaking to this on Sundays for some time, because back in April, May of last year, we began to realize that this event that we've co-created together, this thing called pandemic, that it was going to really change things. You know, and it wasn't just going to be for a week or two, it was going to be months. And in fact, the effects may be felt for years into the future. We started to experience life that had a lot more in it, a lot more of more, a lot more restrictions, right? A lot more restrictions at home, a lot more just restrictions generally, and a lot more time to think about restrictions, right? Or anything else we chose to put our attention to. So we had time, and we had life as we knew it stripped away. Or even as we were stuck at home, most of our usual, well, I should say for myself, because I like to be out of the house, most of our usual distractions were taken from us. Because you can only watch so much TV. I was saying earlier, you know, we purposely got rid of cable because we just felt like it was a ripoff. Right? And then COVID hits, and now we've got all these streaming channels. We're probably spending more now than we did before, right? And then the old Springsteen song, 500 channels and nothing's on, right? So eventually we had no choice but to look at the stuff that was right in front of us. We had no choice. And then we had a lot of things that were going on in the outer world as well that were triggering some of that stuff. Now, for some folks, this is the first time ever right? So we kind of operate in our own little bubble here in New Thought, and you know, we talk about meditation and contemplation and the power of silence, right? And cultivating being comfortable with that. But I can tell you the rest of the world clearly is not thinking in those ways. Because if it was, it would look a lot different than it does. We had to think about mortality. Mortality, our own mortality. The mortality of others. Some of us lost family and close friends, maybe both. Now, for those given to meditation and contemplation, this may have been a welcome time. For others, maybe just a simple life inventory may have done the trick. Now, it remains to be seen moving forward whether this time was put to good use or not. Because we are going to see that we are going to have to contend with this idea. So if we've had a vision, if we've had a nudge to do something different, we're going to have to ask ourselves, is our commitment greater than our resistance? Have we challenged ourselves by trying to think differently, seeking to understand the concerns of those who think differently than ourselves? Or have we instead stuck with what we think we know, content to collect evidence of conclusions about life that we set long ago, perhaps decades ago? Now, this phenomena is called confirmation bias. We've heard about this in the last year or so, and we do this subconsciously. Right? And what is it that we are confirming? We are confirming our structure of knowing. And so Dr. Maria Nemeth asks a very pertinent question. Are we ready to dismantle our structure of knowing? Now, this is not to make anybody wrong or anything like that, because human life often operates with this system, and it does serve us well in some areas. For instance, for our ancestors, they depended on a tribe to keep them safe. That we depend on a tribe to keep us safe. Everything outside of the tribe is seen as a threat, and that the tribe protects us from wolves and grizzlies, or even other tribes. And we have a commitment to the tribe. So we have our own needs that we are meeting to at the center, and then the tribe then is the circumference, the world that we know. And then outside of that, everything else is seen as threat. That there is a bias of seeing everything outside of the tribe as a threat. But what if another tribe has something we need, like flint or mates? We learn to, with enough motivation, we can learn to set aside our bias of threat to have a more expansive life. I was thinking about all the people who are on Match.com who see themselves as a progressive and thinking, well, maybe I could get along with that guy, even though he has more conservative views. With enough motivation, who knows? Now, confirmation bias, I've missed you laughing at my corny remarks. Okay, confirmation, and it just encourages me also, so blame Milena. All right, so confirmation bias serves us well in more abstract ways as well, though. So for people of faith, we believe in a power and presence, that we hang this word God, right? The word God really is a convenience for something which is really very difficult to explain right? Because it's an experience, and each one of us has our own understanding of that experience, that there is a revelation that each one of us is experiencing that is uniquely our own, and yet we have similarities within it as well, because it really is expressing as the highest aspects of ourselves that we then resonate with each other within, at its highest expression, that is. For people of faith, we believe in a power and a presence that we conveniently call God, and then that life as we experience it then confirms that belief, confirms that God exists. If we have a concept of God as provider and protector, this can be good. But what if the other tribe has a different God? What then? Can our belief in this higher power be great enough to acknowledge the beliefs of other tribes? Or do we have the capacity to challenge our own tribal perspective if needed? Now, this is challenging for most folks, whether challenging the tribal thought or even the nature of the divine itself. Because at the end of the day, we are going to have to recognize that we are the creators of our own experience, that ultimately we are responsible in spite of the outside conditions, that we have to think in conscious ways, to understand that our thought can shape both the peg and the whole. It shapes both. So often in life we go around trying to take those square pegs and shove them into round holes, and what happens is we suffer. Right? But it is our thinking about the peg and our thinking about the hole that is the root of that suffering. And with contemplation, we see places within our thought that could stand a little nudge, that need to be shifted, tribal or otherwise. They need to be shifted both from the center and the circumference. And this is oftentimes easier said than done, which prompts the question of our talk title today. Again, is our resistance stronger than our commitment? If we accept that this power and presence is, have we ever stopped to consider why we even believe in a power and presence? Or what is God? How God is? Have we been so content with our understanding of who God is that we have yet to consider any of the other questions? Now, this is important in a teaching that holds that God is everywhere present. That right where you and I sit or stand, God is. Right where the other tribe stands, God is. God is both the center and the circumference. The yin and yang, if you will. The light and the dark. In relationship with itself. So I love when Alan Watts talks about we are here playing hide and seek with the divine. Right? That we go around looking, seeking to see the Spirit showing up in all of the places that it does. Right? Using you and using me as a center, a creative center for its infinite intelligence, its infinite heart, and all that goes with that: forgiveness, mercy, loving kindness, empathy, creativity, prosperity, physical health and wellness, all of it. That you and I are centers of this creative expression. Last week we spoke of truths that we hold to be self-evident, but perhaps a more helpful consideration is to ask what truths are holding us. What truths are holding us? And is our practice expansive enough to include otherness? Now, this is not always easy. The ego is constantly looking for certainty, solid rock that it can cling to. But life is more fluid than solid. It is constantly changing. All, as the Buddha said, all is impermanent. And even rock turns to sand, given enough time. And so it is with ourselves as well. If we can look at ourselves honestly and assess where we are, by ourselves or with a trusted friend, with openness and humility, we shall find these considerations contain flecks of gold and have real transformative power within them. So Holmes observed this when he wrote, one of the great stumbling blocks in any man's spiritual advancement is dishonesty. Ooh. The refusal to honestly face an idea if that idea happens not to please us. This comes in part from the human tendency to take the path of least resistance, whether it be in our physical endeavors or in the operation of our mind. Confronted with an idea that repudiates one we have held for years, we go far out of our way entirely around the idea to keep from being compelled to analyze and possibly to absorb it. That our cry is, I do not like to believe like that. And then he goes on to say, as Ken presented in his song earlier so nicely, that back of this is the fear that an idea may be forced into our consciousness, which will uncover our own responsibility in life. Because it's a lot easier to figure out stuff that other people should be doing. And so we resist. We resist. But it's part of the game. It's the grist for the mill. Right? This is why our meditation practice can be so helpful. Sometimes we're just resisting getting to the cushion itself. And other times, like I said, as spiritual athletes, right, we're on the cushion, and then the real work begins. Right? The real work at not working. Right? And this is important because, as Joseph Murphy observed long ago, that if you set up resistance in your mind to the flow of life through you, this emotional congestion will get snarled up in our conscious mind and cause all kinds of negative stuff to come down, man. That's how he'd say it today. All right. So let's take a breath on that. Invite the musicians up before I get sidetracked on another note. So let's just take a breath and release. And to consider this notion, is our commitment to live life differently? Is our commitment to even uncovering a new vision for our life, to revision our life? Is that commitment more powerful than our resistance to it? And if we have that, if we've captured that vision, and we're being guided into the ways to call this forth, Are we resisting even that? It could be things like, oh, that will never happen for me. I'm not enough of this, that, or the other thing. I can never resist chocolate. Whatever it is our commitment greater than our resistance? And so as we identify that, and then open ourselves up to the infinite power and presence, the wellspring of all that is good, to know that in that infinite power lies the key to our own success in all of our affairs. So in this moment, we make a commitment that we know that this commitment is greater than any resistance that have made itself known up until now, that we allow the living spirit and presence of the divine itself to express itself through every aspect of our life, that raise not only our own life, but the life of those around us. And that's a good thing. And we'll see you next week.
I love you, Lord, for your mercies never failed me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I'm able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have held me through the fire. In the darkest night, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, and I've known you as my friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Yes, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Oh, with my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I'm able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of the goodness
Thank you. That's beautiful. Let's give it up for Ken one more time in the chat at home. So I'm sitting here looking at these beautiful flowers, and I'm thinking about the bounty of beauty pouring into our offering basket today. So, yeah, they smell great too. Pretty amazing. All right, so it is time for us to practice generosity by meaning of the offering. So for those of you online, you can have many ways to participate. We have through the website, through Facebook, through your telephone. Just hit that donate button. It'll take you to PayPal, and you can use your debit or credit card there. Be as generous as you dare to be. Or for those of you who have continued to support the center through your mail-in donations, we're very grateful for that. And there's the address if you'd like to drop us. Some of you sent some nice notes too, so we appreciate that. And I share them with the board as well. And I think that covers it. So let's just ask the lads to take us into our offering song to give you a chance to participate. For those of you in the room, if you want to bring your gifts forward.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives through you, Spirit receives through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you, Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lily reminds me of my mother when we had the talk of the pistil and the stamen and the egg and the creativity of life and expression. All right, so in this offering of joy and in coin, let's take a deep breath and just release as we understand that this basket represents the many avenues from which our gifts come to support our center in time, talent, and in treasure. So as we acknowledge the consciousness of generosity of the individual by which these gifts have been offered here this morning, we representing the heart of this spiritual community accept these gifts with deep love and respect as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only the vision and mission of this center and our online community, but anyone connected to this center in any way, that we extend this blessing and these glad tidings to our friends here in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them. And for our planet as well, that we understand that all of it is the goodness of the divine in expression. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. This inspires us, propels us, and empowers us with the grace to be loving and merciful out in the world. that in this way we understand that we are the divine expression as each one of us. And that's a good thing to know. So we just take a deep conscious breath, releasing that, allowing it to be so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. And so let's thank our featured artist of the day one more time, our music director, Mr. Ken Francis, and Mr. Jason Goldstein. Always good to have Jason there. And all of you online and here in the sanctuary, thank you for being here. And I do want to give a shout out. We do have a special team right now with Kathy Theodore and Deborah Fishburne and others of you who will be getting involved in this effort as we go forward to keep us safe in here in the sanctuary. So let's give them some love as well. And so you need to get in here so you can meet them if you don't know them yet. So pray us out, Rev.
As we acknowledge this consciousness that is within, you know that it is with this awareness, that ability to commit and know that our commitment is greater than our resistance. That our commitment is to know and to understand that the spiritual presence will guide and direct us with love to that which we want to experience, and to understand and appreciate the idea that this awareness, this understanding, this glorious presence that we are acknowledging guides us into knowing and understanding and appreciating that we are forever in alignment with it. And that as we open our consciousness and our hearts, we see the wonders and the beauty and the joy and the richness of it. So it's with this understanding, we let go of the fear and embrace life fully as we go forward from this wondrous hour that we have been blessed with together, knowing that these truths are enriching our lives moment by moment with every step. And we join together in acknowledging this greatness as we say, and so it is.
Please stand and join us in singing the peace song. And we will be holding hands soon, but not today. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice Sunday.